Before Josh Brolin morphed into the formidable Thanos, his life was a wild tale woven with wolves and chaos. Picture this: a young Josh waking up not to the gentle chirping of birds, but to mysterious marks, gaping holes, not mere bites, etched across his face. "Look, there's blood!" he'd exclaim, wide-eyed, while his father, gun in hand, growled, "I'm gonna shoot that damn wolf!" But then his mother, a force of nature herself, stepped in, her voice a low, dangerous rumble. "You shoot that wolf and I'll shoot you." Everyone trembled before her. She'd stride fearlessly into the cage of any beast, and they'd shrink back, tails tucked, as if bowing to a queen. Safety? That was a fairy tale in Josh's world. His dad was off chasing his own shadows, leaving Josh alone with this untamed woman whose wildness bordered on madness. Yet Josh didn't just survive her. He became her mirror. "I am my mother's child," he'd declare, a Tasmanian devil in human form, fierce and unyielding. "I'll do it my way. Get back, get back." Beneath that defiance, though, simmered a deep well of pain. To Josh, he wasn't just a man. He was the ultimate villain, a complex soul forged in fire. He'd watched Thanos unfold on screen 7 times, captivated by the layers of that purple titan, seeing echoes of his own story. Once, a wolf broke free from its cage, roaming the garden like a specter of chaos. The fencing was a joke, flimsy and crumbling, and Josh's 6-year-old brother, oblivious, teetered along its edge. In a heartbeat, the wolf lunged, clamping its jaws around the boy's leg and yanking him down. Josh, planting flowers with an ex-con ranch hand named Norman, froze as screams pierced the air. Norman vaulted the fence like a hero from a gritty western, kicking the wolf off and hauling the boy to safety. 60 stitches later, the leg was patched up. But the real storm brewed when Josh's dad rolled in. "I'm shooting that wolf," he bellowed. His mother's reply was ice-cold and deadly serious. "I'll kill you if you do." She meant it. A wildlife activist with a heart as feral as the creatures she championed, she kept a loaded 9mm by her bedside, a constant companion. Rules? Consequences? They didn't faze her. She'd say anything, do anything, a hurricane in human skin. Josh lived in her shadow, terrified yet craving her gaze. "Wolves are nothing compared to being invisible," he'd muse. He felt born wrong, like a puzzle missing pieces, always pretending to be someone else just to be seen. While his father drifted, Josh became her confidant, her drinking buddy at 8 years old. They'd hit dive bars, cowboys and truckers their nightly crowd, Josh behind the wheel of her car, driving 50,000, 60,000 miles a year to get her home safe. She wanted him to be the tough, drunken cowboy she admired, but the world she dragged him into scared him senseless. He pushed back, clinging to what scraps of himself he could salvage. Then came alcohol, a seductive whisper promising escape. "It was the one time I didn't feel the stress of being 4, 6, 8, he'd confess. "I had a personality, a self, someone validated, not invisible." Crazy? Maybe. But crazy meant he existed. Over time, Josh didn't just catch her attention, he earned her pride. The first time he swaggered out of juvie hall, she waited in the lobby, her smile a beacon. "You're on the right road," that look said, and it lit something fierce in him. He found his tribe, the SEO rats, a misfit crew of neglected kids, angry and aching, with voices bursting and nowhere to scream. Josh was their center, their wildfire, but he burned too bright, even for her. She kicked him out, and he crashed on his dad's couch. James Brolin, the great actor, a name that echoed in Hollywood. Josh, though? He had no words, no path. His wife scoffed when he tried writing a speech. "You haven't got a chance in hell." So he bluffed his way into acting, crafting a fake resume and enduring 350 brutal auditions. "You're too green," they sneered. "Find another gig." He didn't. He haunted bookstores, devouring knowledge, until one day, the Goonies called, One-Eyed Willie and all. Spielberg saw something in him, handed him a lead role, and Josh soared. Still, his mother's ghost clung tight. On set, he pitched wild ideas to Spielberg. What if the tunnels are her womb? What if I'm climbing, cutting that emotional cord, tears streaming? Spielberg nodded, then deadpanned. Why don't you just act? Josh laughed, but the question lingered. Success followed, family, fame. But then she crashed back in. Her boyfriend, drunk and cruel, mocked her post-cancer body. She grabbed a .22 rifle. You're not going anywhere. He dared her to shoot. She didn't, but chased him anyway. A tree ended it. Her life snuffed out in a wreck. Josh spiraled. Booze, fights, jail. His career nosedived. 22 years, I'd take any part, he'd say. I had nothing. Then, a call. No Country for Old Men. He auditioned, nailed it, and the Coen brothers knew. It's him. The film didn't just hit, it resurrected him. Javier Bardem, Penelope Cruz, they became his family. Penelope saw his brilliance, his potential, but also his darkness. At the New York Film Critics Circle, honored for Milk, he was still that scared kid inside. Wine fueled him, whispering, "Be a warrior, be her son." His speech, raw, profanity-laced, shocked the room. "Fuck you! I am who I am!" he roared, memories of wolf cages and chaos spilling out. Penelope's eyes, sad and loving, pierced him. Why? That night, he torched his reputation, a cowboy to the end. Her ghost never left. Therapy tried breaking him, lying on a grave, imagining a funeral where loved ones raged at his wasted life. "You didn't do it right," the counselor snapped, again and again. Furious, he nearly bolted, but stayed. The third time, he felt it, everyone's anger, love, loss. She nodded. "You got it." Sobriety followed, a slow dawn. "I love to drink. It was gasoline," he'd admit. "Now, it starts with me." His kids saw it too, trust flickering back in their eyes. From invisible to unshakable, Josh rewrote his story, one wild, messy, human breath at a time. Josh Brolin, an actor well known for his rugged appearance, deep voice, and powerful emotional acting, has left a strong impression through various roles ranging from superheroes, villains, to broken men carrying emotional wounds. When news broke that Josh Brolin would star in Wolf Child, a film about a child raised by wolves, both fans and critics were intrigued and curious. In this film, Brolin takes on the role of John Riker, an aging, weathered explorer who has distanced himself from society after personal tragedies. While venturing deep into the snow-covered wilderness, he unexpectedly discovers a feral child, a boy who has seemingly spent his entire life raised by a pack of wolves. The child knows no human language, no social norms, only how to hunt, run, and survive like a true wolf. Brolin masterfully portrays John Riker, a man who has long given up hope, now facing the challenge of connecting with a creature caught between the human and animal worlds. As the film progresses, Brolin's character slowly forms a fragile bond with the child, stemming from their shared sense of loneliness and alienation. Their relationship is portrayed with subtlety and raw emotion, especially in scenes where Riker tries to introduce the boy to human life, only to face resistance, fear, and wild instincts from the child. Brolin does not simply act. He becomes John Riker, expressing complex emotions through mere glances, body language, and moments of silence. One of the most memorable scenes shows Riker and the child sitting quietly by a campfire, surrounded by wolves, with Brolin's eyes telling a story of hope, regret, and silent understanding, without uttering a single word. The combination of Brolin's weathered charm, physical presence, and profound acting elevates Wolfchild beyond a typical survival drama into a heartfelt story about trust, belonging, and rediscovering humanity. His performance is expected to be remembered as one of the most moving and mature roles of his career, adding yet another layer to his already impressive filmography. Josh Brolin has always carried a certain weight behind his eyes, a quiet melancholy that seems to shadow even his brightest moments. Beneath the fame and fortune, there is a man who has known deep sorrow. Growing up, Josh did not have the idyllic childhood many might assume. His father, James Brolin, a celebrated actor, was often absent, busy chasing roles and Hollywood dreams. His mother, Jane Cameron Agee, though loving, was unpredictable and struggled with her own demons. Josh was left to navigate the chaos on his own, feeling like a misplaced piece in a puzzle he couldn't solve. The instability of his youth planted seeds of insecurity and loneliness that he would carry for years. Later in life, even as success came knocking, personal happiness seemed just out of reach. His first marriage ended in heartbreak, leaving him not only with the pain of divorce, but the heavy burden of being separated from his children. Josh has often spoken about how difficult it was to miss parts of their childhoods. The small, irreplaceable moments. First words, school plays, late-night talks. His heart aches for the times he wasn't there, times when his personal struggles kept him from being fully present. With his second wife, Catherine Boyd, Josh found a new chapter. But even in this newfound love, the ghosts of his past still linger. He wrestles quietly with feelings of guilt and regret, trying his best to be the father and husband he wishes he had known in his youth. What cuts the deepest is perhaps the loss of his mother, who died tragically when Josh was still young. Their relationship had always been complicated, but her sudden absence left a permanent scar on his soul. In interviews, Josh sometimes falls silent when her name is mentioned, as if words could never fully capture the sorrow that resides within him. The combination of a fractured past and the constant battle to be enough for his loved ones today is the invisible weight he carries. Josh Brolin, behind the rugged charm and Hollywood smile, is a man shaped by sadness, forever trying to make peace with the boy he once was and the family he now holds dear. Josh Brolin, born on February 12, 1968 in Santa Monica, California, had a childhood that was far from ordinary. Growing up as the son of famous actor James Brolin and wildlife activist Jane Cameron Agee, Josh was surrounded by Hollywood from an early age, but his early years were not as glamorous as people might assume. He spent much of his childhood on a ranch in Templeton, California, where he learned the value of hard work, helping with chores and taking care of animals. Unlike many kids with Hollywood connections, Josh lived a rather simple and rugged life. He was curious, adventurous, and loved spending time outdoors. However, his parents' relationship was complicated, and they eventually divorced when he was still young, which deeply affected him. Josh also struggled with finding his identity during his teenage years and got into trouble sometimes, hanging out with the wrong crowd. Still, these early life experiences would later shape the depth and intensity he brings to his acting career.